Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Snatch Chat, where I'm here to help you lose fat, but not your mind. I'm Tiffany, certified personal trainer, nutrition specialist, and your body snatcher. And today we will be talking about the scale, the obsession with the scale, but more importantly, what I consider to be better progress measurements, okay, and tools to use to determine how you are doing with either your weight loss journey or whatever. Mostly weight loss though, because that's what most of you are going for. So I'm going to get into that, and I'm also going to talk about ways that you do use the scale when you do use it, okay, and how not to use it. So I'll get to that at the end. But first, I do want to say make sure you subscribe. And per usual, I have workouts for you. So if you haven't yet, go get your free download. It's down in the description. 3 fully good interval training and strength training, body fat mostly. Well, they're strength training, but they're really good for body fat. So there's 3 routines, so go and get those. And yeah, that's it. I just want to get that out the way. But oh yeah, and also just like to always point out that this is a chat. It's called Snatch Chat for a reason, because we will be chatting and I have all of my notes in front of me, and I'm going to go through 3 specific things so that we can just get the points done and we can be out of here. Okay, so that being said, let's talk about scale obsession. So first, I just want to make it very clear that the scale is a very, very stressful and frustrating method for most people. Okay, it really is not the best thing to use for, determining how you're doing, especially in the beginning of your journey. So I would say specifically in the first 2 to 3 months, it's the last thing that I would use as my true determinant of success, okay? And there are quite a few reasons for that, but I will go into them when I get to the specific reasons, okay? So let's go ahead and get into the point. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you 3 ways that I think you should actually measure your progress, and things that I think will help you most. So the very first one is probably, and you probably guessed, is photos and documenting your journey in visually. So I also like to add that this can include video. So I feel like video isn't done as much, but I preferably like video for my progress reports. That's what I call them. I actually post them on my Instagram story sometimes, like how, I'm doing video wise, because video kind of just captures you and you can actually turn and do everything in the frame, and it's really hard for video to lie, but pictures are amazing as well. So I do want to stress that you will be very upset, okay, if you lose a lot of weight and you didn't document your journey. So that's the main thing with photos, is that this is your journey. So you want to take photos just like you would if you were going on any other kind of journey or trip. You would want to document it. You would want to be able to look back and see how you were doing. But on the other side of that, it does keep you accountable, because if you are taking photos, you are way more likely to see the changes over time. When you live with yourself every day, which clearly you are, it's really hard to see the progress, because it's so you see yourself all the time. So having the pictures is a way to really see the weight coming off or the muscle building or anything like that. Okay, and the scale just doesn't capture a full story. I'll go into that a little bit later, but in general, I can just go ahead and say, like, the scale is well, first of all, it fluctuates all the time. So it can be changing based on any factors. It can be hormonal. It can be that you just ate. It could be that you're on your period. It could be that you're stressed. It could be that you're just bloated that day. It could be just anything. Okay. There are so many reasons that you could be a lower or a higher weight. So you don't want to completely rely on the scale. So that's the main thing for all of these points, but specifically the photos will show you actual composition changes. Okay, so you will actually see muscle forming, body fat being lost. And I have a lot of clients who stay the same weight for months. Okay, they stay the same weight for months before they start seeing any pounds drop, but they have the photos to prove that they are changing. Okay, they have the documentation and they see that they're actually losing fat and they're probably just gaining lean muscle, and that is not being reflected in the scale because the scale does not know what it is weighing. It just knows weight. It doesn't care if it's fat and it doesn't care if it's muscle. It just knows that it is weight. Okay, so you definitely want to take note of that. So yeah, I think that is all I had for that one. Is that all I have for that one? Yes. So number 2 is just as good. I do like photos because they're something that's documented, and you can keep them. But also your clothes, okay? How your clothes are fitting you is a wonderful, okay, method. If you can even join them together and take, pictures of yourself in a certain pair of jeans that you want to get into or whatever, that is even better because you're combining the two, but your clothes will tell a story, okay? Those, that back in, well, I call them your back in the day jeans, those things don't lie. So, if you are trying to get back to a size, you happen to have some pants or whatever that are, your dream, keep trying them on. That's a good indicator. And then also, things that you have at your high weight, and just seeing yourself shrink in the clothes is really, really motivating. And again, this can be something that happens without you actually getting the scale to tell you that it's happening. So it's really, really, really helpful to see how your clothes fit. And then when you really think about it, okay, so, my business is called Body Snatch. When you really think about being snatched, it really is about clothes if you think about it, because it's really about what you look like in certain clothes. So when people have goals, a lot of times it'd be like, I want to be able to wear a bathing suit, right? Or I want to be able to get into my wedding dress. So in the end, clothes are really a big indicator of what's going on and what you really are, striving to get to. So, using it as a measurement tool does make sense in the bigger sense as well. Okay, so that is it for that point. And then number 3 is not a number measurement, but it is just as important as all of the other ones, and it is the way you feel. Okay, I know that it's not really talked about so much because we're always so obsessed with, getting our numbers down and getting, a toned body and getting a 6-pack or whatever. We don't really talk about, using your feelings as a measurement tool, but in the end, that's what it's all about as well, right? Like, you want to feel like you are healthy and that you are well. So if you are on a journey, you are a month in, you are not seeing the scale drop, okay, but you feel amazing, your energy levels are up, and then I didn't put this point because I wanted these to all be things that you do on your own or you can kind of, use as data. But when people tell you that you're looking smaller or anything like that, right? It does something to your confidence. It boosts you up, okay? And when you feel good, when you feel sexier, when you feel more confident, all of those things lend to the rest of your life because it just is an extension of everything else that goes on with you, and it projects as well. So people kind of feel a difference in how you're approaching things. It really is, like, at the core, all about feelings and how you show up in the world. So do not underestimate the power of feelings. You can even, I didn't really put this in notes or anything, But just kind of documenting what you're grateful for is just good with everything. And that's not just, I mean, this is kind of getting off fitness topics, but having a gratitude journal and just writing what you're grateful for with everything, money or, you know, loved ones or whatever, and what you have, and not focusing on what you don't have, is a great method to bringing more of what you do want in your life. So I'm a big proponent of that whole mindset kind of stuff. Clearly I talk about it a lot, but yeah, same thing with your feelings about your journey. Because if you're documenting that you feel appreciative of it, that you're, you know, you feel like you're being more confident and that you're feeling better, you're very much more likely to keep going, right? So definitely feelings is one of the other ones that you should attain to. Okay. And that is it for the 3 points. I'm really trying to get better at just summing these up, but I did want to actually talk about the scale and how to approach it if you are going to use it. Now, first I want to say I am not against the scale. Okay. If you follow any of my stuff, you know my whole thing is I basically talk about calorie deficit for the most part. It's one of my focal points of my teaching other than habit building, because calorie deficit is the only way that you can lose weight. So I'm very clear that weight is the goal, okay? And in the end, you want to lose the weight, but it is not the only thing, which is why I gave the other, you know, ways to measure. And it's also not the best way, very much so in the beginning, okay? Because like I said, weight fluctuates for any kind of reason. So if you are going to weigh yourself, this is how you should approach it, okay? So first, you should weigh yourself once or twice a week, and you need to make sure that it is very consistent, okay? So you're gonna pick 1 or 2 days, the same exact days, okay? And then you're going to do it first thing in the morning, okay? This is after you have gone to the bathroom, okay? So after you pee and before you eat or drink anything, okay? So that is your baseline. You're gonna want to do it at the same time and before, you know, after emptying and before adding anything, because honestly, you can literally eat something and gain weight right then. It just depends on what it is, you know, how you're feeling. So, and even with doing that, it's not guaranteed that that's your weight. That's just your weight right now. So the second part is that after you've picked those 2 days, you have to log them, okay? You cannot rely. So the problem is people get frustrated. They see a weight, they're 125 or they're 175 or 225 or whatever the weight is, right? Then 2 days later, they're 3 pounds higher. Then a day later, they're 1 pound higher than that. And then they might have a few days down the road where it'll go back down. You don't really know the number. And the only way you're going to really be able to visually see what is going on is to plot your weight every single time on a graph. And what I mean by that is you're going to have to do it on an app. So if you have a Fitbit or a smartwatch, you can do it there. Or there are apps where you can just, you know, probably log your weight. I didn't look at the exact apps, but I know pretty much every app that is a, you know, weight loss app is going to give you the option to keep your weight, okay? So you can download the app just for that, even if you don't use anything else, right? And so what that's going to do is they're going to plot it for you, but you will see that there are like, that the weights are going to look like this when you log them, but right under that's going to be like a little graph, okay, that's going to show you if the weight is actually going down or if it's going up, okay? So that is what you're looking for. And the kicker with that is that it's not going to be really accurate until you've gotten like 2, maybe 3 months of real good data to really see the dip, okay? So that's why the scale can be very frustrating, because you do not see the numbers well, Okay, so that is the best method, is to not be too high pressured on it, to be patient and to just log it and go with the flow. Another method which isn't as good, okay, it's not as good, but it is something that's better than just freaking out about the scale every single time that goes up and down, is to document on paper or in your phone weights. You're still gonna pick the 2 days. You're gonna write them down or you're gonna log them, and then you're gonna look at the end of every month. You're just gonna see what was your lowest weight and what was your highest weight. And actually, even better is the 2 lowest weights that you logged and the 2 highest weights that you logged. So say you got to 222 and 221, those were the 2 lowest that you got, and then your high end was like 229 and 228. Okay, that's a big difference, right? So you can kind of look at the other numbers in between, but what you're going to do is you're going to kind of see, okay, fine, that's my range. So your range is the 221 to 229. Then the next month you might find that you dipped one time. Okay, just one time you hit 220 or 221. Okay, but that your high weight was only 227 or something. So that means that your range went down, right? So you are losing weight in some way. It just doesn't seem the same, right? So it's kind of a quirkier method, but it's a good one for someone who does not want to be super obsessed with the scale and wants to just kind of look at ranges. But the only problem with it, as I said, is it's not super accurate. It's better to just log it on a app because it tells you everything and you can kind of see the flow of the numbers. But it is an option if something's better than nothing. I really hate that phrase. I hate it so much, but it does apply to some things. So yes, that is a something is better than nothing example. Okay, so yep, that's it. Yep, those are all my notes. So just to recap, stop obsessing about the scale. Okay, so these are the 3 things you can do instead. You can take photos or video. Okay, because those are the things that are going to be able to be held on forever. You're gonna always be able to pull it up, and it tells the truth and it holds you accountable. Number 2 is your clothes. That's also a great one because you can either use it to aspire to a certain thing that you want to wear, or you can document it with clothes that fit you right now for the future and see yourself getting smaller in the clothes. So that's very good for, giving you that push to keep going. And then 3 is, of course, the, how you feel, which is not a number thing. And, unless you document it, you won't know how you felt, which is why I say it's a good idea to keep notes. But regardless, even if you don't write it down, just noting that you feel great is a good pusher to keep you motivated to keep going. Okay, so those are the 3 things that I consider the best progress tools and things you should do to measure your progress. Okay, so your actionable step for the day is to first stop thinking of the scale as the one and only indicator of success. Okay, so that's the first thing, is just really try to convince yourself like it's just one little piece of the puzzle. Okay, and it's a long-term piece. Just remember, it's a long-term piece of the puzzle. Okay, and then I want you to, if you have not, to go today, okay, and find you a workout top, some shorts, or a bikini or something, and I want you to take some photos of yourself, front, side, and back. You can have someone help you. You can do it as a reflection in the mirror, whatever you need to do, but take those photos. Some people do find this to be hard and it's challenging for them. But I'm here to tell you that everything is kind of a challenge with fitness, right? You have to face reality. So if you're not completely happy with your body, that's okay, but you still should love your body. It's your body. You're taking everything by storm, and you are trying to make change, so you have to face what you are dealing with. Okay, so take the pictures, keep them for yourself. It's not like you have to show anybody your pictures, and do it every week on your fitness journey. Okay, a week, and some people say that's a lot. Fine, every other week. But the whole point is you want to be documenting it. Okay, so that is the actionable step of the day. Okay, so that is it. I got through everything. So I'll just end again saying, go get your workouts. Go do the 3 workouts that I've put there. I even sprinkle some mindset and nutrition stuff in between. So it's very much worth it to get the download and the email with the workout. Okay, and then also subscribe. I put out a video every week. So, just breaking things down. I always usually have 3 points. Go through it, and that is it. So that's it for the day. I will see you next time. Until then, eat well, drink lots of water, keep moving, all that good stuff, and I will see you soon.